Good morning, everyone. I am Mahim Sisodiya from Pvalue Analytics, and I have with me Bhuwan sir from
Hi.
Havells, India. Today, we are going to talk about the future of brand health tracking. Today's brand health monitoring systems often reminds us of Brownian motion. Many valuable inputs, plenty of activity, lot of interactions, but there is hardly any integration or foresight. And when we try to integrate these or bring these valuable inputs together, we often find them more entangled than integrated. The collaboration is missing. This chaos gets further aggravated at business realities and complexities. Like in case of Havells, there are multiple categories ranging from building electricals to lighting to small domestic appliances to large consumer durables. All are like different industries and different categories. So managing all the signals and inputs and integrating them is like managing multiple companies doing the task for this. And then at the same time, when they are trying to serve to the diverse and fragmented needs of consumers and staying relevant in the market space, it becomes all the more complicated for them. Therefore, the task for us was to move beyond this challenges of not integrated, slow retrospective, and unable to anticipate trend systems, and move beyond that. When we were reimagining the brand health tracking monitoring systems, we realized that it is not about mathematical rigor or coming up with a new data science solution or building a new technologically advanced dashboard. We realized that at the core, we have never kept integration at the core while designing our research programs. All the research programs are need-based, planned separately in silos. Even the agencies and teams within agencies are operating very, very independently, silos, not talking to each other. So we realize that we need to have design thinking while planning for these programs in advance for the entire year. We need to have a schedule for each intervention for qualitative, retail audits or retail interviews or for our brand health interviews. We need to have a program in place. But at the same time, once we have this program in place, we realize that this is also not going to solve the problem. Because there are humans involved, there are different experts from different agencies. Within agency, there are different teams. They are not either because of their ignorance or difficulty to understand or comprehend other solutions. They are all operating in silos, and they are always at a constant stress of proving their own supremacy, scoring their own centuries rather than thinking about the brand and winning as a team. We have a lot of variables which are very valuable, diverse in nature, and complementary as well. We all know about these and their merits, but when we think from our silos as an expert from a particular area, this reminds me of a George Orwell's comment from The Animal Farm, and if I translate into this scenario, it is like all the solutions are important, but some are more important than others. So when we were planning and building this framework, integrated brand intelligence system, we consciously kept the integration as a separate phase because we believe this is the most important part and most difficult also, because here we are not just about talking about design shift, but also the mindset shift. Bringing people together, behavioral change, all that is the most difficult part. As a custodian from the client side or from the agency, it's not easy. And then the second part, which is very easy for us, because if you have any data science expert, you can easily predict the scores once you have integrated comprehensive scores with you. Now I'll talk about how we have created this integrated model. In the first phase, we have taken all the quantitative structured score And these are not just, again, combining these scores, keeping a mathematical weight through regressional equations, but this is a very active live model, which we cannot display here, because all the modules, all the modules are planned in advance for the year. They are all talking to each other, and all the experts who are handling these modules are ensuring that any input they receive at any point, they immediately feed into the system, so that the next round is much more comprehensive and more detailed. We have also looked at unstructured data from qualitative exercises and social media conversations. We have converted them into themes, emotions, and that has also looped back into the system of structured tools where we are able to regularly monitor and regularly improvise for comprehensive tracking. Here, we are talking about more than 50,000 brand health tracking interviews, more than thousands of retailer studies, and millions of social media conversations, which are, and this model is running on an autopilot mode where all the tools are getting feedback from each other without anybody has to follow up. There is a custodian to this, and one person is ensuring that he understands the logic and the importance of all these variables and inputs and solutions, so that they can keep an eye and make sure that we have a comprehensive score. Here are a couple of examples where we can see that one single source cannot give you a full picture. At times it is more generous, at times it penalizes the score, doesn't tell you about the strengths or weaknesses which are there. Like in first case, traditional brand health scores couldn't tell you that there are service issues which were coming up in the social media tracking. And at the same time, the distribution and consumer pull strengths were not coming up in the brand health score, which this score could give us, so that we are also not diverting our focus or attention or resources to somewhere else where it is not required. And like I have mentioned, the prediction part was much easier. We just had to create the scores for the past 3 years, and when we modeled them, we got the predicted score for the future. And here is an example, which is again from a large consumer durable category, where we could see a 2 months lead. This brand health integrated score as a 2 months lead to the consideration score from the traditional brand health tracking. You can see that in March, we could spot this growth 2 months before, which was led by performance and durability associations. And at the same time, we have been able to spot this decline, which is expected in November, which is mainly due to the after-sales service issues, which we are expecting after a couple of months.
Good morning, everyone. Today's day has started with some really very heavy and complicated presentations, and I'm sure this may look like a very simple and straightforward things to you, and it is actually. There are things which are very, very, very complicated, and there are simple things. There is a reference to Toy Story, which Mahim will maybe end up with today. So Havells as a client is more like the Woody, the puppet in the Toy Story, and these guys, Pvalue, Prahallad and Mahim and all, they are the high-tech guy who are designing it. We throw the problems at them, and they come up with the solutions. We don't want to get into most of the nitty-gritty which he has talked about for most of this presentation, but let me tell you, Havells as an organization has actually done tremendously well in the last 30 years, growing from few hundred crores to 25,000 crore in a journey of 30 years is not a mean task, and we've been growing by a CAGR of 15%. In the last 5 to 7 years, we've been growing by even higher. The time when we started working with Prahallad and Mahim, till now we have actually doubled our turnover and the number of product categories that we are dealing with. That's the kind of complications that is there in the business. And it's a typical Indian family-owned business. People don't believe in research. Many of you have tried, and I've been the culprit. You have come to me, and we have proposed so many things, so many complicated things, and it doesn't really work. So I think somewhere the lesson for us is also to keep the things simple, straightforward, and show the promoters or the senior management people that things really work. it's not just jargon. There's a lot of jargon. Even in today's presentation, I was telling Mahim that let's have less jargon and more of practical things. This is a very practical solution. That's why there are only two things that we've been doing consistently in the last 5 to 7 years. One is GfK Nielsen's retail audit, understanding the market share. And the second thing is this one, where we are trying to understand the mind share and seeing that, how these two are correlated and where we can't predict the market share, though some people are, coming up with some models. At least in the e-commerce space, I think there is some possibility that we can even predict that. But mind share, we've been able to crack some of it, and it's really wonderful. I'm sure you will have a lot of questions which will come up to Mahim and maybe after this presentation also, but let me tell you that this has worked beautifully for us. There was a slide earlier where Mahim was talking about how it predicts in terms of customer satisfaction. So last year, the summer was really very severe in India. And we started hearing the murmurs of consumer satisfaction declining on consumer sentiments on the online space. So what it helped us do, is ramp up our service so that it doesn't, remain like that. And let me tell you that we were able to satisfy a lot of customers because of that. Our negative scores were much lower by the time the season ended compared to some of the very big brands who were not able to do that. So this really works a lot, very well with us. It has worked for us very well. That's why we have been able to continue working with these people and this model. And I'm sure that in future also it will continue to give us some dividend. And over to you, Mahim.
Thank you so much, sir, for such kind words. But I just want to close because time is up. I just want to close with this slide that, like I mentioned, this is about not just the design change, but also mindset shift. Therefore, we need to think about the humans also and need to work together as Woody and Buzz, not thinking about our own strengths, but working as a team. That will only can create the magic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. One question from the audience. You mentioned that the agencies work and think in silos, but isn't that the function of the client research brief? And do you believe that clients are ready to float comprehensive brief that has integration at its core?
Okay, so clients are of course the custodians of this, but there are a lot of inherent limitations due to which they cannot change the course or design this from the scratch. But at the same time, whenever we are reaching out to new clients or even to our existing clients, we can always talk about these things. So like we are talking about one nation, one election, we may not be able to achieve it so easily. Similarly, maybe we may not be able to achieve the entire integration, but we can think of it, at least plan the next intervention more carefully, more thoughtfully, so it is more collaborative, not just in terms of the information areas, but the cohorts we are targeting, the markets we are reaching out to, and also need to keep the agencies, the fieldwork partners in sync, analytics partners in sync, so that we all know what is the end goal, what are we going to achieve. Is it only about our own products and running the show for a particular research, or achieving the end goal of making the brand win?
Let me also add there, then we need to actually get out of this mindset of client and agency. When the teams are working together, they need to work together, and it's not just a client's problem that you are only responsible for that one project or one delivery. When we start working as a team, we understand their limitations also. So we don't ask them those questions which we know that they are not able to answer. Similarly, they also anticipate what problems we are going to face, and they come up with some certain solution on their own. So it's actually a very team. So those teams who have been working with us on a regular basis, they understand that. There is Sudarshan sitting here. He comes up with us with solutions, not just waiting for us to go to him with some kind of a problem. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much.